Mate, this next one's a big story that you guys dropped a couple of days ago, but fake scholarships leading to human trafficking charges. Tell me more. This is absolutely extraordinary. G'day and welcome to Global Horizons. I'm your co-host, Rob Malicki, coming to you today from Garigal Land in Sydney.
And g'day, I'm Dirk Mulder, CEO and founder of the Koala News, and I'm coming to you from Sydney, but a little bit further away in Dirk country.
And we're having another crack at our news in 10 minutes, Dirk. You and I like to have a bit of a natter, so we'll see how we go trying to knock this out in 10 minutes.
Clock's running, Rob. The clock's ticking.
The clock is running, and I'm already running it down. Let's get on straight into offshoring and the fact that offshoring is continuing to grow.
Yeah, mate, there's been two big announcements this week. UWA, back in May, it was first announced that UWA were going to seek presence in India, and that came off the back of some discussions with government officials back in the time. Yesterday, or the day before, UWA announced that the UGC, which is the University Grants Commission in India, has approved their offering. So UWA is going ahead in India. Campuses in Mumbai, a campus in Mumbai, followed by a second one in Chennai. They'll be offering undergraduate and postgraduate programs in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and business. No surprise there.
No surprises, and probably the thin end of the wedge, isn't it? Because it feels like there's going to be more and more as the sort of caps stuff keeps going. Swinburne in Qatar, though, so another announcement that I think you just dropped this today, didn't you?
Yeah, it absolutely dropped. I mean, we're recording on Wednesday the 18th. It dropped yesterday afternoon. Swinburne's announced that they're going to be the first Australian university to be offering degrees in Qatar. So congratulations to Swinburne and particularly the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of Global Engagement, Douglas Proctor there, who I know has been working on this for the better part of a year, and his team. So there's been a lot of work going into this. It's great. They're going to have a partnership with Barzan University College, and the collaboration will see programs in computer science, engineering, cybersecurity, business, and Swinburne Foundation program. So it's a really, really good, sign to see an Australian university setting up in Qatar, given that there's a lot already across the region, predominantly in the UAE and in Dubai.
Yeah, and a lot like those are areas that Swinburne's super strong. ComSci, engineering, cybersecurity, all good areas. So makes sense. Hey, a sideways note, of course, time ticking, but Qatar Airways just won Best Airline in the world this morning. I think they announced it.
Oh, really? I feel like that's not the first time. I feel like they've done that before.
No, it seems to be like a two-horse race always between Qatar and Singapore Airlines. So looks like Singapore Airlines nudged out of first place for a couple of years, and they'll probably be back next year again.
Well, I was going to say, if you're watching the news last week, Rob, the Virgin type with Qatar sees a Qatar plane now flying, I think it's out of Sydney to Doha, but on a Virgin flight number. So good news for those Virgin freaking flies.
Yeah, that's me. Interestingly, I did look at some of those flights to Europe. Actually, it's just bloody expensive, to be honest, mate. I know airfares are still high, but I'd love to be able to do that at some point, but not yet. Moving along, knowing that I've just sucked up a whole lot more of our oxygen. Which is running out really fast. Mate, this next one's a big story that you guys dropped a couple of days ago, but fake scholarships leading to human trafficking charges. Tell me more. This is absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, so the Fin Review ran a story which Tracy Harris picked up on, and Tracy and I spoke about it, and we thought it was really important to get it out. Look, one of the things, I guess, that came out of the Nixon Review was this thing around human trafficking, and one of the things that I think, certainly discussions that I've had with many people, is that it just went quiet. There was one case, I believe, in the Nixon Review that was referred to, and everyone that I've spoken to has said, for the want of a better word, hang these people from a yardarm, because this is stuff that we do not want in our sector. So it's great to see that the Federal Police have charged a dual Australian and Nigerian citizen with human trafficking after she allegedly lured 15 Papua New Guineans to Australia with a promise of full education scholarships between March 21 and July 23. So the point that I would make here is that we're still 18 months or so, or 2 years now, I guess, post that end point, and we're only just seeing this at the media now. So my point is, we need to get rid of this, but we need to be doing better at it.
Yeah, I guess that comes back to the whole thing we've been talking about for a couple of years now on this podcast, which is, targeted action to really stomp out the terrible behaviour, like these kind of worst case scenarios, rather than the kind of blunt tools that government seems to prefer in many cases. So it's good to see like a really pointy action taking place, if it makes sense.
Agreed, 100%.
More to be done.
You can't afford to miss the Australian International Education Conference happening the 14th to 17th October at the National Convention Centre in Canberra. AIE sees the place to meet over 1,500 international education delegates from Australia and overseas. Build your own learning schedule, gain insights from sector experts, new research findings, and spark ideas at lively discussion sessions. Plus, there's plenty of networking opportunities, from the expo hall to brain dates and social events. Don't miss out. Make sure you're at AIEC 2025. Registration is open now. Learn more at aiec.idp.com.
EdTech. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so EDUtech 2025 and the New South Wales EdTech Summit was held in Sydney last week. And we've spoken about, again, this on the podcast, and certainly the Koala has run a number of stories on it. Congratulations to Study New South Wales, to Business Events New South Wales for bringing EDUtech in 2025, but also for the next couple of years, which I guess the New South Wales government's really spruiking as saying that New South Wales is now the epicentre of EdTech and EdTech development. And some of the numbers that sit behind it have actually really reinforced that. It's really, really great. And congratulations to broadly, I guess, New South Wales that are, and a whole array of departments within there, including, as I mentioned, Study New South Wales, Investment New South Wales, Department of Education, and TAFE New South Wales. So, yeah, look forward to seeing more of that over the next couple of years.
Am I right that was down in Victoria previously?
Mate, I'm actually not too sure.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that maybe there's another sort of event of a similar nature down in Victoria that I saw last year, because I think there was a bit of hoo-ha around this one being back in Sydney.
It was,
cool.
Absolutely.
And New South Wales government, definitely big push on the innovation and entrepreneurship side of things. Like, I'm on a couple of those mailing lists and keep seeing them doing more and more, which is obviously a good thing for the economy. Nationally, IEAA, an important time of year, just sort of landing on us right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the IEAA Excellence Award now open for nominations. And again, I mean, we've spoken about this in the podcast before as well. It's a point in time where recognising your peers and recognising the work that goes on in our sector that is, above and beyond. And there's some great work that does happen in our sector. And this is the point in time at which we can kind of sit back and really think about who should be nominated and who can be awarded. And then come AIEC, where those awards are presented, we can really celebrate that. And I think it's a really good initiative of the IEAA running these things. It's now in their 17th year, so it's been going for quite some time. I feel like I don't want to say only a recent thing, because it hasn't been. It's been going a long time. But again, it's really, really important. In terms of categories, it's really important to mention those. So the first, I guess, the biggest one is the Distinguished Contribution. Second is Leadership. Then third is Tony Adams Rising Star. There's a Best Practice Award. There's Innovation. There's the wonderful Professional Commentary Award, which people in our space will be looking at. And then there's the Outstanding Postgraduate Thesis.
Who won Professional Commentary last year, Dirk?
Mate, stop it. I'm going red.
Yeah, you are going red. You've gone the same colour as the sign in the background there, buddy. Very well earned, mate. Very, very well earned last year.
But yeah, and look, I appreciate that. And I think it's important that we have diverse views across our sector. So completely humbled last year in winning it. Yeah, this year hopefully someone can take on that mantle, and somebody who's been equally a big voice in the sector can be awarded and be celebrated.
Good. Speaking of AIEC, man, it is coming up fast, isn't it?
Mate, yeah, it's literally, I think there's 16 weeks to go. So, yeah, it's going to be here before you know it.
And declaration of interest, of course. Global Horizons is the official podcast of the AIEC. And, of course, Koala News is a media partner for AIEC. We're very, very super stoked to be involved with it, because it is the pinnacle event on the international education professional development calendar, professional collaboration calendar, if you like. And exciting this year, back in Canberra. I'm trying to think the last time we were in Canberra, 2013, 2014, something like that. It's a few years ago now.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, generally you go Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane a couple of times, and then it gets shared around to Adelaide, Canberra and Perth. So it's really nice to be back in Canberra, in the nation's capital.
And I'm pretty stoked to see some of the keynote speakers have been announced. I'm pumped to hear Peter Grest.
Yeah. I've got to say,
he's on the podcast circuit and stuff too. He's an amazing speaker, great storyteller.
Yeah, and look, for someone who is a bit of a media junkie, I haven't seen too much of his work. I've seen bits when he I guess first was released, from custody, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one as well, and actually hearing firsthand, in person, some of those stories and some of the stories that make his. I mean, he was an acclaimed journalist before, that all happened. And so I think it's a fascinating story. So I'm really looking forward to it too.
The other keynote who's been announced is Dr. Jill Hicks, who's an artist, published author, musician, and award-winning director and producer. A very thought-provoking and powerful communicator, sharing her insights on life after death. So as always, awesome keynotes that just sort of take us a little bit outside our normal day-to-day work and allow us to think about some bigger issues that sort of peripherally impact us. So I'm really looking forward to those.
Life after death. That's the bit that captures me.
That's right. Actually, speaking of which, if you are listening along, super early birds are open right now. I think it's like $300
$300
off. That's a nice chunk of change back in your budget. So get on. There's links in the description. You'll find a link on the Koala News website. Jump in and sign up for AIEC already. You know you're going to be there, so sign up now.
Yeah, absolutely. A limited time for that. It closes on the 31st of July. So there's about 5 or 6 weeks left to claim that.
Dirk, I think we've been absolute champions. Look at this. 11 minutes just ticking over on the clock. I think News in 11 sounds better than News in 10. We're going to rename it.
I'm with you. We've done well.
Good on you, mate. I'll see you next time.
All right. Look forward to it. Thanks, Rob.
If you've enjoyed this episode of the Global Horizons podcast, consider subscribing to our newsletter. Search for Global Horizons podcast and then just pop in your email address, and that way you will never miss out on all the critical international education news that you need to stay up to date with. This episode has been produced on Garrigal Land in Sydney. Our video and audio editor is Len Zamora, and I'm your host, Rob Malicki. Have an awesome day. See you in the next episode.